Hi viewers, Andrew here and welcome to another video. This is going to be my DVD update, just covering what I've picked up in the way of DVDs over the past month, so let's get started. First we have Green Zone starring Matt Damon. He's the main character in the film. It's set in Iraq about a group of soldiers trying to locate weapons of mass destruction. Brilliant war film, thoroughly enjoyed it. Got some brilliant action sequences, great cast of characters, great acting, and a very gripping storyline, I must say, with some great twists and turns throughout the film. So that's Green Zone. Next up is a Steven Spielberg film, Empire of the Sun, starring a young British boy called Jim, who's played by the young Christian Bale, and the entire film's basically seen through the eyes of Jim. He gets separated from his parents and captured by the Japanese, and he spends the majority of the film in a Japanese internment camp. So that's Empire of the Sun. Thoroughly recommend it to anyone who's into war films or prisoner of war films. Really well done. Next is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is the remake. Yet to watch it, but I grabbed it when I saw it in the bargain bin for $5 at Big W. From what I've heard, it's a pretty solid remake to the original, which I have seen and thoroughly enjoyed. Brilliant film. But yeah, I haven't watched it yet, and I'll probably get around to watching it sometime over Halloween. Next is A Single Man. Brilliant film. And I have to give huge props to the director. It was his first time directing a film and he did a fantastic job. It stars Colin Firth as the main character. He's a college professor. It's set in the 1960s California. It's a tragic love story basically about he's just lost his long-term partner in a tragic accident and he's going through the grieving process. Brilliant on-screen chemistry between all the characters, fantastic music score, and some of the shots just look stunning, so that's A Single Man. The next three I picked up in a 3 for $25 deal at Sanity 2 weeks ago, and the first one is Misery. I sat down and watched it as soon as I got home and have to say thoroughly disappointed with it. Couldn't get into it at all, didn't like the storyline, couldn't get into the characters at all, but don't just take my word on it. From what other people have said and from what I've read, this is one of people's favourite Stephen King film adaptations, so yeah, I still recommend if you're into this sort of psychological thriller style film to give it a shot. You might like it, but it just wasn't for me. Next is Evil Dead 2. Believe it or not, I've never seen this film before, yet to sit down and watch it, but I've seen so many recommendations from it here on YouTube. I had to pick it up, and I'm sure it's well worth it, so looking forward to giving this one a watch. Like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it'll probably be a Halloween viewing, so that's Evil Dead 2. And the last one I picked up is Peter Jackson's The Frighteners, starring Michael J. Fox, who plays Frank in the film, and he's a ghost buster. Basically, that's his business, but it's an actual scam. He knows the ghosts and he basically sets them up in people's houses, so people call him to get rid of them, and the scam goes on. So if you're into Peter Jackson or ghost films at all, I recommend The Frighteners. It's a pretty decent movie. And the last two I picked up last week, and the first one is Donnie Darko. Pretty much everyone's already seen it, you know what it's about, but for those who haven't seen it, the basic storyline is it stars, and I cannot pronounce his last name properly, Jake Gyllenhaal, I think it is, or something like that. But yeah, he's the main character. He's a high school student who has a near-death experience and believes the world's going to end in 28 days. And with the help of an imaginary friend who's a bunny, he goes around doing all these crazy and bizarre axe. Pretty confusing, I have to say. Definitely think it needs multiple viewings, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thought it was a brilliant film. Definitely get the hype behind it. So that's Donnie Darko. And the last one I picked up is Orphan. This was a blind buy, and I don't regret it at all. A brilliant film, definitely one of the better horror / thriller films of recent times that I've seen. Can't really say too much about the storyline without giving it away, but basically it's about a young orphan girl who gets adopted into a family. Basically, wherever she goes, there's tragedy happens, people get killed. It's kind of similar, I guess, to The Omen in some aspects. But yeah, if you're into killer kids, I highly recommend The Orphan, and it's got a pretty good twist towards the end. Well, that's it for my DVD update. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please rate, comment and subscribe. And as always, until next time, thanks for watching.